A lot of monitoring spirits out here, man. A lot of people watching you just to watch you, hoping for the chance that you'll just tickle their ears long enough to make them feel a certain way. And if you don't make them feel a certain way, well, then all of a sudden you're ostracized. But the weird thing is about people that have these monitoring spirits is that they don't even know that they're monitoring spirits. And I think that we live in a day and age where, because of social media, it's like people get a spy on people's lives all the time. And a lot of people are anonymous online, you know, they don't really have anything as far as a name for themselves or anything like that. You know, it's like always the anonymous people that will leave the most despicable comments. And I think that if they were anywhere in real life, they would never say some of the things that they do. But that's just my opinion. And I think that a lot of the times when people are trying to discover themselves, there's only a certain frequency that they can actually accept certain things that are being said to them, you know? Like, sometimes people just don't have the consciousness frequency to digest what you're saying. And these same people will spy on your life, hoping for you to fail. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to shock them when you succeed. I was recently with some people that I haven't played racquetball with for about a month or so. And, you know, they were asking me what's new. And they were asking me, you know, how's life been? Because it's been a minute since I saw them, of course. And I said, well, I published a book. And they were shocked. You're a writer? Oh, I can't believe you do that kind of stuff. And then they'll try to like one-up you, you know, as a means of trying to establish some kind of connection, which is just kind of bizarre. But it is what it is. And you know, that's when you know that these people, it's just better to keep things on the surface, you know, because there's nothing wrong with being who you are. The problem comes when being who you are is like an insult to the people that are not authentic. Isn't that strange? Isn't it strange how we live in a world where being who you actually are and living true to who you really are makes you like a threat to people with a consumed ego? Like, they're consumed by their egos. And I think it's actually a good thing for people to have egos. I think it's healthy for people to have an ego. But I also think that the people that are caught up in trying to one-up other people, they're so misaligned within themselves that they don't know how to calm down enough to see that just if they want to chase their dreams, they can do that too. You know, my dreams don't have to be your dreams. And your way of life doesn't have to be my way of life. However, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So it baffles me when these monitoring spirits, these people that will only watch you hoping to just see you fall, or they'll be shocked when you actually demonstrate some kind of sense of competence and virility and ferociousness and a conquering mindset and not a scavenger mindset. It's like they don't know how to handle you. And you know what's crazy is you're not too much. They want you to believe that you're too much. But you're not too much. They're just not enough of themselves. You see how this works? Do you see how this works? I hope you all are understanding what I'm saying here, because this is very important. We cannot allow people to tell us how to be authentic if they don't even know themselves. How are we supposed to listen to somebody talk about how to live life and give advice on how to live life? And I'm not giving advice on how to live life. I'm just saying what's working for me, what's not working for me. You know, I'm not a guru. I'm not a financial guru. I'm not a life coach or anything like that. But I do have mentorships. And I do have an academy. But that doesn't mean that I'm a specific thing. I don't believe in titles. And the reason that I don't believe in titles is because I think sometimes people get caught up in their identity with their title. It's like, oh, well, if I have this as my title, if I'm like director of whatever, or if I'm operator of whatever, oh, this makes me a higher status person. And maybe in a way it does, but maybe in a way it's just kind of hindering you on your path to true liberation and true oneness with God. Well, so how do you know? How do you know if what you're doing is actually in oneness with God? Well, I'll tell you this. I was talking to somebody in a one-on-one mentorship call yesterday, and something that we talked about was how he asked me, he says, well, how do I know that I'm actually like a godly man? How do I know that I'm actually doing what God wants me to do? And it's like, I don't think you'll know until you just live it. Because if you just live it, then you're going to get somewhere. It may not be the place that you expect. It may not be the place that you perceive to be going to begin with. But it's going to be somewhere. And it's going to be a place where you have to live out the truth. Something that I talk about in my book, the Book of Oldishness, is how you don't really get to be in the truth unless you're living it. You don't get to speak the truth unless you're living it. And it's not like you can't speak some truthful things, but to speak the truth is completely different. And you know what I've noticed with my business in general is that the more, how do I phrase this? The more that I take less crap, the more people are prone to be offended. Isn't that funny? And the more people are prone to be offended, usually the more I stand my ground. Now, could this be a form of pride? I've thought about that. But I don't think that it is. And the reason that I don't think that it is because I'm not really, because what is pride? Well, pride's a sin, but why is it a sin? It's because you're trying to make up for something. You see, I have an ego to live up to. A lot of people just have egos to try to run from who they really are. That's what makes a lot of people different. And this is why I don't think that I'm necessarily being prideful. It's because I'm trying to live up to who I'm striving to be. A lot of these people, a lot of my critics, they're just trying to live up to who they're not. You see what I'm saying here? This is why these monitoring spirits, these people that will watch you and spy on your life, the only reason they're watching you is because they're trying to see what it's like to live an authentic life. And I'm just so flabbergasted, I suppose. I'm flabbergasted by the ways in which these people live their lives. I'm so startled that some of these people out here do not have lives of their own, so much so, like, I want to be giving people educated, positive content. I do. I want to give people the opportunity to really and truly have the tools spiritually to live a fulfilling life. However, I cannot do that for people that want to run from themselves, not to themselves. People that want to run to themselves, I can help them. But I can't help the people that want to run away from themselves and hide behind falsehoods. I just simply cannot do this. And I don't think that it's my responsibility or anybody else's responsibility to try to help people that don't want to be saved. She don't want to be saved, don't save her. She don't want to be saved, don't save her. J. Cole was a genius writing that lyric. I'm not really particularly a fan of J. Cole, but that song is funny. And I thought about it quite a lot recently. Because it can apply to so many different kinds of scenarios in this life, you know. But it's like, the winds of change are here. AI is changing the world. Crypto's changing the world. People are going to get left behind. And all these people that are so busy trying to critique other people instead of trying to, live out their lives. It's really sad to watch. And at this point in my life, I'm just letting go of all the unnecessary burdens. And a lot of the unnecessary burdens that I'm carrying, I found, are people that I really want to help. But unfortunately, they don't want to help themselves. They like their issues. I can't help that. How am I supposed to help somebody that is in love with their issues? That's what I call living in chains for real. They're actually living in chains. They don't know what it's like to actually enjoy life, to be outside, and to enjoy the peace, to enjoy the smell of the trees, the taste of blackberry tobacco. And I'm not saying you have to smoke tobacco or anything like that. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying that I like the taste. But to just enjoy the moment, just to chill for a second, because sometimes the best way to move fast is to chill. And I've been very heated throughout the day, and I'm getting to the point to where I know that my mind is like, when the car is like running hot. Like, I had this car. It was a 2006 Saab 92X. Man, that little car, I drove it to Colorado about 5 or 6 years ago. How long was it ago? It was 2021. So I guess it was 4 years ago. No. This was before COVID. So it was 2019, yeah. And I drove that little car. It's a little manual car to Colorado. Man, that thing worked and worked and worked to try to get up those Colorado mountains, Because anybody that's been to Colorado knows that those roads, like outside of Denver, when you get into those mountains, man, it is, man, you have to really push that car. You got to know what you're doing, right? As far as having a car goes. And you got to make sure that your car is okay, right? But the engine will heat up a little bit because you're going uphill so much. And, that's, I'm thinking about my mind sometimes in those instances where I'm reaching new heights that I've never reached in my mind before. My mind, my electromagnetic satellite that is my mind, is just on a different wavelength. And the only thing that I can do is like, okay, once I get to the top now, I'm going to have to like idle it out and chill for a second because my mind needs to cool off. And it's not like I'm hot-tempered by any stretch. It is simply the case that I need to, and I think we all do at some points, just need to take a seat back, take a sit, take a seat, chillax, and let your body rest, let your mind rest and recover. Because if you're going to be wound up for so long, because these people that are watching your every move, waiting for you to make some kind of mistake so they can just critique you or try to one-up you, you don't need that in your life. And it's way better to have like one good person. Like, anybody seen Batman, the Robert Pattinson version? At the very end, the Riddler is talking to the Joker. And the Joker says, "Riddle me this." Because the Riddler's asking, "Who are you? Who are you?" They're in like the cell. They're in jail together. And they can't really see each other, but they can communicate and they can talk. And the Joker says, "Riddle me this. the less you have, the more value one is. And the Riddler's like a friend, and they start laughing and joking, and they're like, they're having a good time. Even bad guys understand that you need to have allies in this life. And it's better to have a few solid allies that have your back than it is to have a bunch of people who barely know you, who only tell you sweet nothings because they want to, or some people, like, there's so many content creators. There are so many content creators that actually want to cause a ruckus by just telling people all these vain things. And you know who I see this happening the most to? Ironically, it's not the liberals. It's all these fake Christians. It's all these fake Christians that want to believe that they're pure. Meanwhile, they're going to so they're critiquing other people and how they live. Oh, your body's a temple. You're this and this. Meanwhile, they can't stop jacking off to the freaking screen. Do you know how crazy that is? Do you know how deluded and entitled you have to be to judge people's sins while you can't have any control of your own? I don't judge people for sinning. But if you're going to judge me or another person unfairly out of this fake righteous indignation, I think that in of itself is just a form of pride and vanity. And it goes back to, I have my ego to live up to. Most of you false Christians out there, I'm not speaking to most of my audience here, because most of my audience is not a lukewarm Christian. It's just so crazy to see the levels that people will go to simply to make it their goal to be holier than thou. Even if they're not like Christian, whatever they are, they just think they know better. I know I don't know better. All I'm doing is living my life at this point. I'm enjoying the show. And I'm giving my commentary on what's happening. Because there's really not much else to do. This home called Earth, it's not really my home. I'm here for a short time so I can be with my Father in eternity. And you know what? I think you ought to be more worried about your own salvation than somebody else's. Because a lot of people are like these monitoring spirits. They're trying to make themselves out to be like these people that, I care about these other people. I care about, I'm saying this because, no. You're saying this stuff because you think you're right. And you know what? Whenever anybody wants to argue to be right, I just tell them they are. I have bigger things to worry about. And these monitoring spirits aren't going to get us down. We're going to continue being who we are. We're going to continue striving. We're going to continue to endure. because that's who we are. We're winners. We're striving to live up to something. We're trying to enact and live out our own ideals and principles grounded in Christ. Everybody else can go do whatever they want to do. I'm going to be on Team God. And with all that being said, God bless you. Peace be with you. And until next time, Thaddeus signing out.